Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, we have a little bit more on those two big news stories that we're breaking this week about the man who went overboard on the Carnival Magic, as well as the Carnival ship that got rocked by that storm. Well, now passengers have arrived back at shore and they are speaking out, and let's just say they are most part not very happy. So a quick update on the gentleman who went overboard. His fiancée is speaking out saying that he was the life of the party. He was in a good mood. There's no way he would purposely go overboard. This was not his personality. He was in no way that kind of frame of mind. She just says that he fell overboard somehow, and there's still hope. She still, of course, has hope that he's out there. Unfortunately, the search itself by the Coast Guard has been called off, and the FBI have now been called in to investigate what happened. They're going to contact eyewitnesses. They're going to contact, of course, they're going to check the closed-circuit TVs, talk to the crew, etc., what happened. But they will launch their own investigation into what happened as well. Maybe something else will come out. And I understand completely the fiancé's frame of mind, saying the person, this is not them, etc. And I understand that. As somebody who has personally lived somebody through this with somebody who took their own life, I had no idea until it happened. That person seemed like they were always in a good mood, always happy. People learn to put on a persona when they're sometimes in deep depression, and you may not see it. So I'm not saying that happened, but I also know that it can fool anybody, no matter how close you are to somebody. And if you suspect somebody is going through that, please reach out to them. Please have them contact somebody, because maybe they can prevent something from happening in the future. Completely understand her position, but there is just sometimes you just don't see it. And I've lived through it personally myself in the past. So, okay. On with number two. Well, the Carnival ship that got caught in the storm, the Carnival Cruise Line put out to a news organization that the storm grew worse than they thought it was going to grow, and it was safer to stay where they were and ride out the storm than to try and sail out of the storm, which could have been more dangerous to the passengers. The crew, the ship at no time was in any actual danger. The passengers were completely safe. And the people on the ship are going, okay, that's fair once we're in the middle of the storm. The question was, should you have even sailed into the storm to begin with? How did you not see this storm growing? The weather forecasts on land were calling for this to be a bigger storm, and it was suspected to be as rough as it was, but Carnival decided to sail into the storm anyway. That's what they're saying. Whether or not that's actually the case, right? Did we predict 80-mile-an-hour winds where they were? I didn't see any actual forecasts out saying that it will be 80-mile-an-hour winds. I did look back at some past forecasts, and they said, that the storm could grow stronger, not that it was going to pick up speed. So it's hard to tell, but passengers are not happy with the decision to go in to begin with. A lot of them coming off the ship saying that they are seriously, even experienced cruisers were coming off saying it might be a while before they get back on a cruise ship. They were that scared on board. And the big thing that they're really blasting Carnival for is the complete lack of communication for over 14 hours from the time the storm started till around 8 o'clock or so in the morning, when they finally had any kind of announcement from the crew or captain over the intercom stating what was going on. Nothing, no reassurances during the evening that we're going to be in this position, we're going to be riding out a storm, please stay in your room or anything. No communication, it seemed, hardly at all. Passengers were smart enough to head to their own room, and even on the TV, it just kept on saying, an announcement is coming soon. The TVs stopped working, there was no announcement coming out, and the crew did not inform the passengers at all. That is not the way to go. When an emergency is happening, the passengers should always be kept in the loop. Even if it's just to say, hey guys, we're having some rough seas here. I know it's tossing and turning, but it's much safer right where we are. We will just ride out the storm, and the ship is fine. Nothing's happening. The wind is just sounding worse than it is. Please bear with us. If we try and say a lot of this, that's when we could get into some trouble. That would have been enough to settle a lot of people's nerves in a situation where a lot of people were not sure what was going on. Can you imagine this being your first ever cruise, and all of a sudden at 12 o'clock at night the ship is being tossed around like this, and you're not being communicated whatsoever by the crew or the captain. And even the emergency television system says please stand by for an announcement, and there's no announcement coming. That's when things get scary, and that's when people start to blame the cruise line for not acting appropriately. Now, they did come out and say, the crew members were smiling as if nothing had really happened, and the actual cruise itself was fun until that point. And I completely understand that, I really enjoyed skydiving until that one time my suit didn't open. Yes, okay. But the communication or lack thereof is really what a lot of people are blaming the captain and the crew for, besides wondering why they even sailed into the storm to begin with. And as I said, you sail into weather all the time. Sometimes it gets surprised, you get caught, it's more severe than it looked, and you are just rocked. And you have to deal with it at the moment of the situation. That I can understand, that I can say, okay, the storm got worse, we're here, we're handling it, the ship is safe, let's make everybody okay. But you have to communicate with your passengers to make sure that they understand you're doing the best for where you are right now, and to reassure them that they're not gonna start tipping over. If you're a first-time crew, you don't know how ships really work. You just know you're on a ship, and you just want reassurance from somebody in authority that sounds like they have things under control. When you don't hear from people, that's when you think that they are not sure what they're doing, and you start to worry about their capability of keeping you safe and keeping the ship safe. So yeah, if they didn't make any announcements, and I'm hearing multiple people saying they heard nothing for close to 14 hours during this storm, that's a shame on them. That's a shame on the captain himself, and a shame on Carnival for not keeping your passengers informed. Well, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. How would you feel on that ship if no communication was coming and you're just rocked all night in the middle of a night? I know I'd be wondering what's going on, and I'm even one of the most, I'm that cruiser who's there all the time. I've sailed through all these things before, but the lack of communication would have my curiosity going as well, and maybe even my nerves. Well, I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.